thinking on marrying, and we all done plenty of that, she had to think about getting her quilt pieced.
Rock 10.
The Lone Star.
If you one more time.
As a girl, I remember the saying, a girl who is quiltless at 21 never shall greet her bridal son. I started quilting for my hope chest when I was 11. Sometimes a baker's dozen of quilts was all you had as a dowry, that plus a sack of potatoes to pay the preacher man with. Took a whole lot of cover to keep warm on those old open houses on the plain.
Now the way I done mine was real nice, I think. Papa laid up this beautiful arbor made from brush he had cleared from the land. He set it up just a ways back of the house. Well, I just went out under that arbor, set up my frame, and went to quilting outdoors. Now some thought that was funny, but I sure thought it was nice. Mama made me one real beautiful quilt top, a Lone Star. I quilted it and made 3 more like it that I don't reckon were much to look at, but I was sure proud from then. And that's what I set out with when I married my sweetheart. Now that's a story. You wouldn't believe it to look at me now. But I married me, the finest looking young man, for 3 counties around when I was 18. And I didn't need him and no dance neither. I don't reckon I would have stood much of a chance there. These big sized tents were never so graceful. They're just good, strong platforms for standing on. Anyway, what I was doing was, sitting there under the quilt and arbor of an afternoon in the spring. It was the 14th day of April,
beneath my lone star.
Pardon me, ma'am. I didn't mean to startle you, but I've been seeing you out here every day for weeks and just got up my nerve to come over and speak with you, see what you was working on with such care.
Morning now, I married him. And as I recall it now, that was the longest speech he ever said to me at one time to this day.
Block 11.
Double wedding rings.
This was a piece of my wedding dress. Oh, laughter, pieces of tenderness.
I think this is the prettiest one I ever made.
Come on, Silver.
There was always lots of soldiers around here then, and they was always looking for girls. Sometimes they'd even leave signs on their tents.
Wanted, lovable housekeeper.
Wanted, a girl, must be kind to dogs.
At Old Fort McPherson during the Indian Wars, they shipped in a bunch of Irish girls to be laundresses. Them good-looking girls found themselves married in a day or so. I was one of them. They say it took a week or more for the homely ones.
I was born on a mountain, but I don't hardly remember being a girl. I was married to a man when I was not quite 15 years old, and I was figuring it all back, and I reckon he was 32 at the time. I must have liked him some then, but I was just like all the other girls on the mountain. We thought if we could marry and move away, we wouldn't have to work so blasted hard. Little did we know what kind of work we was getting ourselves into. I had my first baby 9 months and 18 days after we were married.
My first baby was Glenn. I was just a baby myself when I had him, but I couldn't have been more prouder.
My firstborn was Edmund. That little baby was the light of my life.
Second came Alice. She was no bigger than a minute, but she could yell louder than anybody.
Our third baby was Silver. My fourth we named Mark. He was dark, slender, and smart as a whip.
Block 12,
Shadow block.
secret drawer.
Dear Mabel Louise, another Durham came into the world last month. This one we named Robert Burns Durham. Little Robert gave me quite a scare being born. Andrew was gone logging, and it was a howling norther outside. Well, I broke water and was having too much pain. And feeling that baby with my hands, I knew for certain it was going to breach. So I put the kids to bed to keep warm, and I told the older ones to keep the fire going no matter what. We got a little room tacked onto the back, and I crawled in there under all my quilts, and Lordy did I pray for Andrew to come home. He came blowing in later that night, said he just had a feeling. I've never been so glad to see anyone. And he pulled that baby out.
My fifth baby was Jane. She was the apple of her daddy's eye and our first girl. Next came Betty. Oh, what a little scam she was.
Our seventh was Benjamin. We named him after his granddaddy for his pretty wavy hair. Eighth after Ben came Nan. She was always the quiet one.
My dear Harriet, it seems like it's been just one baby after another. I'm pregnant with number 8 now, and I'm wondering how we'll ever get along. It's like my mama always used to say, I wouldn't take $1 million for any of my kids, but I wouldn't give a nickel for another one. My ninth was Daniel. He was born during the drought and didn't get a proper bath till he was walking.
My ninth baby died 10 days after it was born. The cholera. 10 and 11 were twins.
Dear Mabel Louise, I'm got the kids to bed finally. I'm sitting down to write you before I go to sleep myself. The children are keeping me busy all the time, and I'm awful glad there's not another one on the way. I'm terrible scared of getting pregnant again. And that's put a strain on things between me and Andrew.
My 11th miscarried. My 12th was Margaret. She gave us quite a scare, came almost a month early.
My 12th was Ellie. My 13th was Alan.
My 14th was Matthew.
My 15th was Luke.
My 16th was Samuel.
Jenny, Lisa, Jane, John, Jody. Sure went for those J names. Margaret, Joseph, Dana, and Ted. I quilt here every night with pictures of my family all around me. Gives me a good feeling. Reminds me of when you little ones was crawling around underneath my feet. Doesn't seem so long ago. Well, I hope I can keep up and get this quilt finished. My arthritis has been getting to me again. Getting old just never did agree with me. People ask me sometimes how I have so much energy at my age, and I just say, I don't have time to get old, I'm too busy. My hands hurt so bad sometimes, though, that I can't do any quilting, just the simplest of piecing. That's why I like this log cabin pattern. It's just a bunch of skinny strips sewn one to another. It's nothing fancy, but it sure turns out pretty. And you can make this from the tiniest of remnants, the bottom of the barrel. Don't matter as they're all the same width. Some of these came from my babies. Some of these my mama gave to me. Her children's clothes.
The apple never falls far from the tree, Sarah.
Me and Mama, we never could throw anything out.
The best thing about having so many kids is they can turn the hardest work into fun if they have the mind to. All those months putting up the new house.
Log 13. Log cabin.
Every log in my house, straight as a pine can grow.
All my life, my father was a lumberman.
Every log in my house, straight as a pine can grow.
We lived in a forest near Hot Silver Springs. He would always whistle while he worked. Sometimes he and Mama would whistle hard, and then we'd all stop and turn. Sometimes I always had the choice, whether I wanted to work inside with Mama or outside with Papa.
Outside with Papa.
He took such care to make in our house. It was a log cabin. It had 4 rooms and a fireplace. He had plans all laid out to make it bigger when the family grew and he had time. He took care to fit in everything just perfect.
Every log in my house, straight as a pine can grow. Every log in my house, straight as a pine can grow. Every room has a window, and every room has a door. And there's a dandelion carpet growing through the floor. Growing through the floor. Jump, 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 the Rocky Mountains. 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 Jump, the Rocky Mountains. Jump, the Rocky Mountains. Jump, the Rocky Mountains.
Now we had the whole house finished except for them floorboards. Now we've been told you have to lay them boards under the dark of the moon, otherwise they'll curl up and never fit straight. We were so anxious and the kids were so excited that we decided to lay them boards under the waxen moon. And wouldn't you know, them boards warped and shrank up and left huge cracks between them. The kids never minded it though. They'd be jumping from one board to the next. Sometimes it would drive you crazy. You still out there and there'd be a lick lying in the salt for you when your daddy gets home. Do you hear?
Don't worry, Mama.
Calves are a month,
So what is stacked?
Take care of the chickens. All right. Get to bed. We have a big day ahead of us.
After living in one room for so long, the new house was like a palace to us kids. Mama's room was called the best room, and it was in the front. Papa's workroom was in the back. We had a lean-to kitchen, and the kids slept off to the sides.
Most of the time. The first night in, we were all so tired. Everybody
When you get on in years, sleep don't come so easy anymore. Hardly remember the last time I slept the whole right night through. And if that's not the arthritis that's waking me, it's full dreams I keep having. There's one where I'm rushing to finish my quilt, and I lost the last pattern. I've had that one a couple of times. Sat it aside myself, but I can't find where, and I don't remember it. Serves me right. I'm an old quilter, but it took Job's patience for me ever to do the same pattern twice. Nowadays, I can look at a quilt I made a long time ago, like this one here, and ask myself, was it me who made this? I can hardly figure out that pattern anymore. Sometimes it feels like I'm looking at the work of a stranger.
Look at that, Mama. That's your work, all right. The pictures change, but the feelings, that's Sarah through and through. Block 14, Country Crossroads.
Let's see. I figure I have made about 100 quilts in my life. Not bad. There's one quilt that took me 25 years to make. And that's 25 after putting the children to bed years. My husband used to ask me, are you ever going to put those needles down? There I was, night after night, deep into my stitches in the midnight oil. Those 25 years have seen a lot of changes. Some of them not so pretty. I tremble sometimes when I think about what that quilt knows about me. 25 years to make a comfort that is longer lasting than a life. 25 years I've labored gladly. Who will count the stitches? Sarah the child and child bearer, the wife and woman I was taken for.
The stitches tell of all these and many Sarahs more. Who will count the stitches?
My husband always helps me with the quilting. He ain't ashamed of it. He's good at it. I bet if I showed you quilting both of us done, you couldn't tell the difference between his stitches and mine. I remember the first time the census taker got out here. Now there wasn't no roads then, nor anything but mesquite as far as the eyes could see. Here come this lady riding side saddle with a long skirt from out the brush. She had on gloves. She comes right up in the yard and says, I'm the census taker. I like to never found ya. Then she took this big old book out of her saddlebag, and my husband asked her, what's that for? She says to count up all the folks and see what they're doing. Well, my husband took her aside and showed her all the quilts we made together, and then he tells her, I only do the quilting. The wife, there's the artist. She's the one that makes the light shine. Put that down in your book.
I have heard of a land on a faraway strand.
It's the beautiful home of the soul, built by Jesus on high, where
but it didn't work out. I was 27 years old, quite a go-getter in those days and very headstrong, and I'd been away at teacher's college, and I was very definite about my career. Well, I'd been sick when I was younger, and I couldn't have children, but it didn't bother me because I was so busy with my teaching and my church work and all. Well, anyways, one day this doctor moved to town, and he was from California. My, was he handsome. He had a gap-toothed grin that could just stop your heart, you know? Well, anyway, we just fell in love, and I'd never considered marrying anybody before. I'd never met anybody I would consider spending my life with. But him, well, I thought he was pretty special. Well, right off, I told him about not being able to have children. I wanted that out in the open right off. I told him it didn't make a bit of difference to me. Maybe down the road I could adopt some kids, but all in all, it suited me just fine. Well, he looked me right in the eye and said it suited him just fine, too. He'd never been so sure about kids himself, and anyway, it was me he wanted. That was enough. We had a few months' happiness after that. It could be so much fun. And then one day, he told me he made a mistake. He really did want kids real bad. I could tell by the way it tore him up. He was real sorry. And shortly after that, a woman he knew from California moved to town, and they got married. And I taught both their children in school before I retired. Like I said, I never married. Living alone always suited me just fine.
In that beautiful home where we never more roam, we shall be in that sweet by and by. Happy praise to the King, till eternity sing. It's a land where we'll never shall die.
My husband and I married back in Virginia, and he wanted to go out west as soon as he could. He got a job laying track for the first railroad into New Mexico. When that job was done, he was put to work inspecting 20 miles of track. He walked it. He could do it in a day easy if there wasn't any repair work. And I was home caring for the stock and the kids, and I wanted to do something nice for him. So I started on a quilt that took me 2 years to finish. I was always hiding it before he came in, sometimes running when he hit the door, or stashing it in the craziest places, like one time the stove. When it was done, I called in Elizabeth, my oldest, to give it to him. He took it, and he studied it and studied it. I was thinking maybe something was wrong with it, when he ran over to me, wrapped that quilt around me, swung me off my feet, and sashayed me around the kitchen. Both of us laughing to beat the band. It was some man all right. Later that spring, I was finishing up some work when I decided to start on the quilt to cover the baby that was due. I had just lit the lamp when I heard a bunch of horses coming up the road and riding hard. My heart stopped. I reached way down to catch my breath. There were 5 men from the railroad. They were sweating and talking over one another's words. There was a bushel basket on the ground right in front of them. Jim Rice thought maybe he fell and hit his head. Slim Henson thought maybe the heat got to him. None of them could figure out why he didn't hear the train. We never did get a clear reason, but they had to bring him home to us in that bushel basket. They tell me I didn't cry or say a word. I just sat down kind of in a little ball and started rocking back and forth. Rocking and staring, rocking and staring. Of course, I don't remember much now, hardly anything in fact. Just what they tell me. I stayed in the back room and never came out. I guess it must have been my mom come in and set a pizza bag in front of me. A needle, spool of thread, and a pair of scissors. I didn't know what those things were for. Well, one day, my hands reached out. My hands remembered, and they grabbed the top piece and sewed it to the next piece, and next. didn't matter what it looked like, I never laid a cutting edge. 5 months later, I had a whole quilt, and the baby was born. My eyes can clear again.
Lord, don't rain down manna in my yard. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. The Lord don't rain down manna, manna in my yard. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him above the heavenly when it rains, don't it flow? Muddy waters overflow. The Lord don't rain down manna. It don't rain manna in my yard. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
Block 15, crosses and losses.
These quilts is from the ladies of the First Baptist Church.
Revelations chapter 8. And when he opened the seventh seal, there was a silence in heaven for the space of half an hour.
Later on, they said it must have been a spark from the engine of a midday train passing through Tryon that started it. There had been no rain to speak of that summer, and the valley was dry as a tinderbox.
And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit.
The wind come up and kept that fire moving, and the smoke was blown so thick you couldn't tell where the fire was. It could have been 20 miles off or just over the next rise.
My husband Bert told us,
Everyone, plow strip around the house. Plow like crazy. I'm running off to meet the fire.
we set to plowing for all we was worth. It wouldn't stop the fire, just send it somewhere else. Sometimes in all different directions, and all you could do was just sit and pray.
Praise Him above, ye heavenly hosts.
Their torment was as the torment of the scorpion when he striketh a man.
These quilts is from the ladies of the First Methodist Church.
Lots of people in town on Saturday business were trapped there. I was the county treasurer then and only lived about a half mile from the courthouse, so I struck out for home on foot. The smoke was so thick and the sand blowed right into my face as I walked. I couldn't see the fire from the town, and then, oh God, suddenly it came roaring at me from over the hill, and there was only one way to go. Straight through it. Now!
I saw something coming at me, glowing like a firebrand, and staggering through that plowed field.
Clarence! Oh, Clarence! When I cut the boots off his feet that night, all the skin up to his boot tops came off with him.
I set out with Dr. Cooper as soon as we had heard the fire had struck in Tryon. We set out in the wagon with stacks of quilts patients had given us for their services. By the end of the night, we were cutting them up and using them for bandages.
One woe is past, and behold, there come two more woes thereafter.
These quilts is from the ladies of the First Lutheran Church.
I sat in that soddy for hours. Night came, and I saw the fire blazing against the sky. And then, it passed right by me. It never touched me. Then I started to hear those horrible noises, the horses screaming from over at the Nelsons' barn. I was wondering where my boys were.
The judge and I were in our 70s then. Nobody to help us. We set out to beat back that fire alone. All the livestock got roasted in the corner of the pasture, but we fought with wet sacks and buckets to save our buildings. We fought with our lives, and then we dragged ourselves
off to bed, never to get up again.
To this day, I'm still not sure how I got all of the kids and babies out of the house and into the field in time. We laid there overnight. When my husband Bert came home the next morning, he just sat down and cried when he saw how the fire had jumped the fire guard. It took 3 years to put up that house, and I helped every step of the way, pregnant or not. And that's the one that burned to the ground that night, with all my quilts and books in it. We lost all the kids' things. My mama's quilts were in there alongside mine, but we were alive. It was all we could do was just to sit in that field overnight until we could take in the damage and rebuild.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. And he showed me a pure river of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of God and of the Lamb.
And on either side of the river was there the tree of life, and the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations.
You can't always change things. Sometimes you don't have no control over the way things go. The hail ruins your crops or the fire burns you out. You have to do the best you can with what you got. Some materials is given to you and some you can afford to buy. But how you put all that together, that's your business. Now you can put the pieces together any way you like. Piecing is orderly.
Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
Know ye that there hath no trouble taken you, but is common to all men.
Amen. Dandelion lies on there with your golden breath, with your golden breath. All your comrades long ago laid their splendor
18, the tree of life.
There was no choice in whether or not we were going to finish that house. Me and Mr. Thompson worked side by side up until the day I was 65. He taught me everything I know about building and carpentry. After the funeral, I came straight home, put on my overalls, and set to work. 31 days later, I had lost 57 pounds, but our house was done. Then I set to quilting. People always ask me why my quilts turn out so good. I tell them I plan my quilts like I used to plan my house. As long as you have a careful plan, everything will turn out just right.
Every log in my house,
Everything has a time, and early in the morning I am tending my flowers and grapevines, and when everything's properly done, it puts me in mind to get to my quilting
straight as a pine.
and let the light shine. I've done my portion of weeding and cultivating, but everything within its time is mended and tended, and it puts me in mind to get to my quilting and let the light shine. And let the light shine. And so, my dear daughters, it is said that
Man proposes and God disposes.
I've been hurrying to get this quilt finished, but looks like it's gonna be up to you girls to put on the finishing touches. I leave this, the work of my hands, to you, my daughters. May, with all my love and blessing, may you find as much joy and comfort in the using of it that I have had in the making of it. By the way, when you bury me, don't bury me in my best quilt.
I want you, Jenny, my oldest, to take it and keep it.
And then pass it along to the next one.
And the next one.
Each of you keeping it for 1 year.
I want you to show it to my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren.
And tell the stories that are in it.
Okay, girls.
Let's go to it. Pieces of lives, all the unspoken emotion of our lives. Hands around, now lay on the healing hands. With no cross there is no crown. Sisters, sisters, spread the healing hands around. Hands around, let's be the tide that binds. Let all the hope in your working hands bring you, sisters, sisters, bring you peace of mind. Stretch them out over troubled waters, gathering daughters of Zion. Hold fast, hold
Give her the
tight.
fruit of her hands, and let her own work praise her in the gates.